Hello everyone, welcome back. In this tutorial, we are going to see Ansible. So let us start discussion with what is an Ansible. We have heard that Ansible is an automation tool. There are different types of automation tools are available, like Chef, Puppet, SaltStack, and one of the popular tool is Ansible. All these tools, Shape, Puppet, SaltStack, Ansible, they perform a similar type of job, like implementation of infrastructure, deployment of application, change in huge environment. So this all we can achieve using these tools. But Ansible is bit different from the other legacy tool like Puppet and Shape because Ansible run on SSH. That means it doesn't require any agent need to be installed on client operating systems, which reduce the load of any DevOps engineer, and also it's provide you the great flexibility to manage your infrastructure. Ansible is open source tool, so we do not have to get the tool from any vendor or licenses for the Ansible. It can be easily available on the Ansible website. We can just Google it and download easily. It's a great advantage because there are the n number of tools which is available. It's not an open source. We have to pay for it, but it's a enterprise level of tool, and we can easily get the available from the internet, and the source code is also available. But now Ansible is totally controlled by the Red Hat. This company is acquired by the Red Hat. Now it's under the Red Hat, but still it's open source. We do not have to purchase it from the Red Hat. All right. Let us understand the feature of Ansible. It's a cross-platform support. We can deploy the application or deploy the infrastructure or any kind of change we can do in cross-platform. That means it support Windows, it support Linux, it support wide different types of network devices. It's a router, switches, firewall, load balancer, and it's not limited to the operating system. Even it supports the recent technology like OpenStack, Docker, everything. All the modules of Ansible is available to manage this all. As we discussed, it's agentless architecture. We do not require any agent need to be installed on server and client, which reduce the overhead of any engineer, and for organization it's a huge saving because lots of company paid to manage the agents. So we need to pull the inventory, how many number of systems have the agent, how many number of systems not have the agent, whether the agent is have the recent version, there is a where the server is upgraded. We do not have that kind of load in Ansible because once we install the Ansible on any one of the machine, we do not have to install anything on the client platform. So it can be easily connected with the client platform using the IP address over SSH protocol and easily perform the deployment on the target machines. The complete Ansible is written in the Python, so we can install Ansible using Python also. Using pip, we can install the Ansible, and if you want to write your own module, we can write it because it's open source and you can get the help from the community and you can write your own model. Daily basis, there are the n number of modules get added into the Ansible, and there is a wide number of modules are available for the different platform and devices to manage the end-to-end infrastructure. As we discussed that it uses OpenSSH and it can be run over the Microsoft Windows operating system, Linux operating system, and we can integrate with this GitHub. So we can easily download the code from the GitHub and we can start deployment on the target machines. It's very easy installation and configuration. on any one of the machines, so we do not have to much more put the effort to install and configure the Ansible. So in next video, we are going to see the installation part. It's highly scalable. It's not limited to the this number of machines can be only controlled. Like some application have the limitation. If it is a freeware, you can control 10. If you pay the premium, you can manage 1,000. If you are a gold customer, something like that. But here there is no differentiation based on the business. It's not like that. It's end-to-end scalable. It's end-to-end robust, end-to-end to suit your enterprise requirement. Whether you are managing a 10 server or you are managing a n number of thousands machine or 1,000 devices, no problem. You can just add those devices in your inventory list and you can run your deployment without any issue. So it's an awesome feature. It's highly scalable. It has been accepted and adopted by reputed corporations, and reputed MNCs already using it. And there are the n number of company those are moving from the legacy technology like Puppet and Chef, and they are now adopting the Ansible because it's a highly scalable and it's very secure because SSH2 is very secure. It's used the SSH, and SSH all the packet, all the transaction, all the communication between your source and the target. It's create an appropriate tunnel without any issue. You can execute your command, your playbook, everything over the SSH. All right. For the learner, it's very simple to learn. We are going to see that because the syntax is not that complex. We do not have to learn the programming language to learn this because it's pretty simple. The syntax is all the like the English language. We need to understand the few basic things. We need to understand the few syntaxes to write the code, but it's a very easy to learn it. It's not that difficult to write the Ansible playbook. Ansible, it's not only limited to the automation engine. As we discussed, it suits your wide area of requirement like for configuration management, application deployment, orchestration, and provisioning. All right. So when we say the configuration management, if you want to do any changes, maybe you have to increase your memory, maybe you have to increase your count of vCPU in your cloud environment, it suits your requirement. We can use the Ansible to perform that. For application deployment, maybe you have the Java program and we have to deploy it on the target server in different regions. We can easily do by using the Ansible. End-to-end orchestration we can do. We can control our environment. We can have the pretty much control over on the what to have, what to not have in the environment. Everything we can set up using the Ansible. Provisioning is pretty simple in the Ansible because it's not only limited to the AWS. You can use Ansible for AWS. You can use for Azure. You can use for OpenStack, for virtual environment, for hardware-based system like bare metal, on-prem. Everything we can do using the Ansible. So it's a wide area of models are available to perform the provisioning in different environment. The key component of Ansible is Ansible modules. As we discussed, the Ansible modules play an important role because Ansible module allow you to get the functionality what we expect. So for example, you are expecting the OpenStack deployment, we need to get the OpenStack module in the Ansible. For example, you want to work in the Docker, then Docker module will come into the picture. So everything is a module based. So the module which you use, we can get the functionality, and there is a wide range of modules is available to perform the different. As we discussed that it support the OpenStack, it support the Docker container technology, it support Azure, it supports AWS, it supports VMware, everything we can do with the Ansible. All right. And the feature we call the inventory in the Ansible is important to understand. Inventory is the list of your target devices. It can be 100 devices, it can be 10 devices. Anything which is your target devices going to be added into an inventory. All right. So we have to write the inventory file. The inventory file contains the host name or IP address. So we are going to see the practically how to basically we write the inventory file. But inventory, the keyword is very important because it contains the target devices. Once we run the Ansible or Ansible playbook, it's gonna check the inventory, and based on the inventory, it's going to deploy or it's going to make the changes on the target server. So if you have the 10 server, we need to first write that 10 server in the inventory file. If we skip any of the server, that means the change or the deployment is not going to happen on that particular server. So we need to, every time we need to make sure our inventory is updated, and inventory need to be properly updated, because we can group it. Maybe you can keep the database server in one group, and another group is a web server, another group maybe your middleware, so forth and so on. We can create a different group, and based on the group we can run the different commands. All right. Task is what we are expecting from this Ansible. So the task we can write it, and the task we can create, and we can reuse it. That is a very important feature, because you do not have to create a task every time. Maybe you created a task to deploy the AWS instance. You do not want to create every day to deploy the AWS instance. Just you execute that task, it will create an AWS instance. So that is very important thing in automation. Create once and use every time. So that Ansible also do that. You create once and reuse every time. Variable is very important. You can declare the variable, and that variable we can call in our playbook. All right, so that we are going to understand practically how it's work. And playbook is we can say the n number of Ansible command we can club into the one playbook, like we do in the script, right? N number of tasks we write in the playbook and execute it. So same thing, based on our requirement, we are going to create a playbook, and that playbook will achieve our expected result. Let us understand the architecture of Ansible. Ansible is agentless, so we do not have the complex architecture where you have the server and client and you have the agent. It's not like that. You have just one version control server to get the code. All right. If you are maintaining the code on the same server, you will have only one box where we'll have the Ansible, and also you will have the version control. Most cases, you will see that version control will be your Git, and that will be the hosted on the cloud. So you have to just make sure you properly connected with the cloud and get the code. All right, so that will going to see in our lab. Ansible management server basically is the management server from where we are going to execute our playbooks or Ansible command. And another side, we have the different types of server. We have the web server, we have the database server, and we have the application server. This is an example, it can be anything. But the only idea is here to understand step number one, Ansible going to talk with the version control tool, and it will ask to get the code. Step number two, from version control server, we'll get the updated code. Why it's needed? Because your team will be working on that code. It's in a process. Maybe you will have the release number one, release number two. So we'll have the latest release. So that's the reason we have the version control tool. So we'll have the updated code always on the version control tool. And from version control server, we'll get the updated code on the Ansible management server. And from Ansible management server, we are going to run that Ansible. And this Ansible running we can do in the automation way using the Jenkins or some automation tool. So that's, we'll discuss later on. But at this moment, we have three steps: get the code, run the code, and we get the result. All right. Apart from this, we can include a number of different tools to run this. Like we said, a Jenkins can be one. All right. We can include the other tool in the Jenkins, like for example, integration with the Slack to send the notification after the job completed. So a number of use cases we can create, but definitely we are going to see those use cases in our tutorial, that is end-to-end how it's happened. So let us first focus on the Ansible. In the next video, we are going to do the installation and configuration of Ansible. Thank you so much for watching this video.